Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show, Adam. 11 years, season 11. How you feeling about it all?
Pretty good. It's hard to believe that it's been going on for this long.
Yeah, yeah. We're talking about in Hot Topics the anniversary special that airs on Thursday. That was your idea to do that, and why do you think that was important?
Because, and I don't know if you left this in the anniversary episode, but it was just, 10 years is a pretty significant amount, I think, for anything to be around for that long.
Yeah.
So it was really just a chance to kind of celebrate how far we've come in that 10
Mm,
years.
yeah. Well, for our viewers and listeners, I don't know if you know Adam is a jokester, so I had everyone send over their updated bios and and their updated pictures. And so I was updating the website today, so I was adding in the bios and the pictures, and I didn't read through most of them, but so I saw his. 'Cause I was like, did he send me one? And I saw it, and his last. What was their last line,
I said
Adam?
Adam was brought on to save the Stephen Knight show from assured ruin and was there to save it. And I put that in there. This is a little tip. If you ever don't think people are reading like emails or things you send, put a little something like that in there just to see if they're actually paying
Because I copy paste, I put. I said, what? That's
attention. Yeah, I was sad to see that removed, but I'm glad you did read it.
Well, listen, season 11. Here we are. I'll let you guys. Well, before we go, before we get into movie reviews, I want to talk to you, Chike, because I forgot to ask you on Hot Topics. You started the vaccine process. So you had the first shot and you had the second shot tomorrow.
Yes, I
How
had
has it been for you?
the first shot. It was cool. I've been journalizing on my Instagram if anybody ever wants to
Yeah,
come by and
yeah.
look at it. But yeah, the first shot was cool. I had like maybe a golf ball size knot in my arm, and it was painful. It was sore. It lasts for maybe a day, and then it went away. No
Okay,
sickness, no symptoms.
good.
But from what I'm hearing, because I'm asking the doctors that I work with who've had their shots before me, about the second shot, what should I expect? And they were saying that the symptoms show up, and they vary between people. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to feel, but I'm
Mm,
expected to feel something.
okay.
But the bigger thing is that I'll be done tomorrow, and
Yeah,
Awesome. That's
24
awesome.
hours of symptoms, I can take it. I'll deal
yeah,
with it.
most definitely. Well, we hope everything goes smoothly for you tomorrow,
Thank you.
for sure.
Definitely.
Well, I'll let y'all take it over movie reviews.
Sure thing. So, new year, new things to look forward to. But I actually saw three films from last year, and a lot of them were around the end of the year during our break. So, I'll just kick it off with the first movie, Wonder Woman 1984.
Please,
And
let's get into that. Let's get into it.
okay, so yeah, so this movie is the reason I got HBO Max because I wanted to see the new Wonder Woman movie. I loved the last one. It was a great kind of fresh take on like the superhero of like a fish out of water in this new world. World War One was a fun setting. So this time they're in 1984. The atmosphere is different. Wonder Woman, Princess uh, uh, well, Diana Prince, as she goes by, but is now working at the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. And this artifact comes along that is going to grant people wishes. So think of kind of like a wishing rock. And Pedro Pascal plays the villain who kind of unlocks the power of this. And so Wonder Woman has to stop him. And along the way, we also have what is known by the comic fans as Cheetah, played by Kristen Wiig, as kind of the counterpart that's another villain in this movie. And so for me and Chike, I can't wait to hear what you say, but it was. This is a movie, and I don't like to do kind of like a 1 to 10 scale, but I would put this as a 5. This was a movie that had some fun parts to it, but it was really you think too much, and I know you're not supposed to think too much in superhero movies, but even if you think a little bit about it, the whole world falls apart. And
Mhm.
at 2.5 hours, I felt like there was an easy 30 minutes to cut out of it. I think the first scene could have been cut out. There's just a lot of stuff going on. And I think we see this, in the 90s Batman movies when they put two villains in a movie at once. There's just too much going on that you can't really focus on one or the other and give them enough attention. So overall, I mean, if it's still available on HBO Max and you have a subscription and you want to just see kind of a superhero movie in the background, check it out. But it will definitely disappointed compared to the first one for me.
I would concur. It's I'm not going to call it trash. It wasn't trash, but let's compare it to the scale of the marketing for it. You
Hmm.
made us wait almost a whole year for this movie to be released. Then when you release it, not only do you release it in on a multi situation, you're in your theaters and you're also streaming it, which is unprecedented.
Hmm.
No one's done that before. And the movie turns out the way it turns out. I kind of sort of want to use the word trash because you got me all built up for what, a five?
Yeah.
You were generous with the five. And the only thing to me that saved this film was some of the action scenes, because some of the action scenes were hot.
Hmm.
Um, but that makes me even more angry at Warner Brothers because you had all these great action scenes, and then the storyline was kind of trash.
Yeah.
Um, the sappy part, I didn't want to get into, especially that last scene with her with the lasso around his ankle. And
Oh
I don't
yeah.
want to tell too much. That sappy, I don't want to see that. Um, the first Wonder Woman movie was so dynamic,
Hmm.
and to date, it's probably one of the best DC comic
Yeah.
movies done. And you took that legacy that you created, and then you brought this. No, not it's not the move. It wasn't good. So from what I'm understanding, Patty Jackson, the director Patty Jackson, wants to only do another like a third installment to Wonder Woman, and
Hmm.
then she wants to leave it alone. Um, there is going to be another film before we see the third installment, which is going to be Amazons, where they focus purely on the Amazons and I guess their journey to Themyscira.
Hmm.
Um, that should be pretty interesting. I hope they put as much oomph into that as they did the first Wonder Woman to help maybe give them some to help bolster the ideas for Wonder Woman 3, whatever that's going to be. They have to come through with this next Wonder Woman movie because this one was not it.
Yeah, and I think Patty Jenkins will kind of learn because I think she was one of the writers too for the screenplay that you just tone it down. Like let's focus on something and let's not try to put too much into a movie at once because it just doesn't work out.
And I get it because I've heard Linda Carter speak about it, and I've heard interviews between, well, I've heard a conversation between Linda Carter and Gal Gadot
Hmm.
about Wonder Woman and the essence of who Wonder Woman is and how they want to portray the character. They want her to have heart. They want her to be a feminist. They want her to care about people in the world. I get it. I think that they drove that point home too much in this particular film. We kind of get that from Wonder Woman in the first one. We kind
Hmm.
of get that from her presence. We get that from the comic book. So anyone who's a fan, I think there isn't anyone on the planet who doesn't know who Wonder Woman is. If
Hmm.
you know who Wonder Woman is, then you know her character already. Rock with that. You don't have to display it in every movie. And I think that's when you got into the sappy stuff and the stuff that was like can be on the cutting room floor. Like we don't need to see that. We know that she has a heart. And I'll just say this: being a comic book fan and Wonder Woman dealing with Cheetah for the first time. In the comic books, Wonder Woman gets her ass kicked severely the first time around, and she has to learn how to fight Cheetah. Cheetah is her number one nemesis. Create that.
Yes.
Not saying that Cheetah wasn't good, because I love like at the end when you saw her visual, I was like, oh wow,
Uh huh.
okay. And I was ready for and then it didn't happen. I was upset.
Yeah, she's the if I understand correctly, she's like the Joker to the Batman. This is
Yes,
the arch
yes,
nemesis, and you need to
yes.
develop it more than. And a small minor spoiler, but your villain wearing a cheetah fur jacket and then turning into a cheetah, then you need a little more than that
Yeah.
to
And
develop the arch nemesis.
honestly, the geek part of me, I wanted to see the metamorphosis. Show me the
Hmm.
change. You didn't show me the change. I
Yep,
want to see the change.
yep. Too
And
much going on.
furthermore, speaking of show me the change of Diana Prince getting into her Wonder Woman outfit. Like that was kind of corny. It was kind of corny, y'all. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to say like what I saw, but it was kind of corny.
Yeah, yeah. If you watch it, you'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. Well, to move on to a movie I did like was the another movie that, of course, got delayed with the pandemic, but Pixar's Soul. And this
Mm.
movie is, of course, another Pixar release starring Jamie Foxx as a jazz teacher who abruptly dies, and he goes into this place where he learns about souls. And it's created by the same person who did Inside Out, so it's kind of one of those existential movies, but it's also a children's film, but there's a lot of elements to it. But it's really his story about kind of finding out how his life was and what his world was like, and him trying to achieve this mission of being a jazz musician as his dream. Without going too much into details, I will say it was really well done. The animation is amazing. They've mixed animation styles. So when you see it, you'll see kind of a different take on how they interpreted things. And it's a Disney Plus release, so you can watch it anytime. But I was definitely a big fan of this. And again, it's a kids movie, so you don't have to worry about thinking too hard about, well, how's this work with this. Just understand, that they're making a quick hour and a half movie. But and this is also Pixar's first black lead in any of their animated films. So, and Jamie Foxx does a great job as always. He's in his movies, so definitely check it out.
Yeah. And it also touches on your heartstrings too. It's
Hmm.
it's a heart toucher. Yeah.
Yep, yep. I mean, I was laughing at so many points that I didn't think I would be in that movie. So, Pixar does it again. And then my final film, which is kind of the big movie release of last year that I finally got to watch on streaming, is Tenet. And this is the big Christopher Nolan movie. If anyone keeps in touch with kind of movie news of last year, he forced the studios to bring it out. He wanted it to be released in the theaters. And this movie is kind of the best way I guess I could describe it is it's similar to like a Ocean's 11 and a James Bond with time travel. And for anyone who's seen Christopher Nolan movies like Inception, it's they're tough to explain, but essentially this person, the protagonist, played by John David Washington, has to go in and stop this Russian oligarch from essentially ending the world. And so he learns about how to do temporal manipulation and how time can be reversed. And it's a fun movie. It's again, I think another movie where you don't try to think too much because it's going to be a confusing movie. Chris Nolan likes to put all this kind of little Easter eggs at the beginning of the movie that you have to really pay attention for. But the action sequences were fun. Uh, it was a movie that I think would have benefited from the big screen, so I'm kind of sad to see it on the small screen. But one thing I will say is the audio was a little off, so I play having subtitles on really helped me a lot during this film. And again, I liked it a lot. The ending could be a little confusing, but you're on for the ride, and you want to watch these fun action scenes and kind of see these elaborate setups. And yes, we've seen the spy movies before. We've seen the Ocean Elevens heist movies before. There's no new ground there. It's a little tropey at moments, but overall, it was a worthwhile wait for me. And this is one of the few movies that at 2.5 hours, I felt actually flowed really well. That it didn't even feel like it was that long.
Okay, cool. I haven't seen Tenet. I know that was the first movie to be released in theaters since the pandemic hit.
Hmm.
And I've watched the interview with John David Washington, and he was thrilled to be in the Christopher Nolan movie, but he was upset at how the marketing of it. I mean, rightfully so, simply because of everything that was around. I think they would have done better if they would have held out and just did it strictly to streaming instead of try to have it in theaters first. And I
Yeah,
do get that that movie calls for the dynamic of the big screen, but this goes to the things that we talk about on here all the time. Maybe they should stop making movies in that way because you're relying on that 100% in certain
hmm,
films, and maybe you shouldn't because the film does have to have a life outside of the big screen at some point. It
yeah.
has to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and someone I wish would listen to you is the people who make the James Bond movies, because No Time to Die just got pushed back again,
Hello.
and I'm like, come on, just let us see it. So now we have to
All
wait.
you're doing at this point is delaying the money that you're going to lose on this film.
Hmm.
You're going to lose the money, take the hit, and keep it moving. The fans will tune in. James Bond has fans, decade-long fans,
Exactly.
and generational gap fans. So, you know,
Yep.
take the hit. You're
I
gonna
don't
get
want
a
to wait
hit.
anymore.
Yeah, right. The fans don't want to wait, but you're gonna take a hit. Just take the hit, Hollywood.
Yep.
Anyway, um, the next film was it is a well, it's not a film technically. It's a docu series on Netflix called uh, uh, Night Stalker: Hunt for a Serial Killer. And this is about Richard Ramirez, who was known as the Night Stalker in LA. And he killed 13 people. He assaulted numerous people. He's a pedophile. He's a rapist. Uh, just the worst of the worst. And also, I believe, a Satan worshiper. Uh,
Hmm.
this was scary as hell because it's true. It's a true story. And the cops are talking about, how they basically found him and how it wasn't easy to find him. And this man was just going into people's homes at night, just opening windows and going in and attacking people in your home while you slept, and snatching people like as they were coming in the home sometimes. The worst of the worst. And they could not catch him to the point where he killed 13 people. It was very interesting. Um, they have the police that actually dealt with the case talking in the docu-series, and it is definitely if you're into those crime drama things, it's definitely something to watch. I found it
Nice.
very interesting and educational because I didn't know about this guy. I've heard the name, but I didn't really know about him. And to actually see him and see what he looks like, he does look like he worships Satan. He looks like a straight up demon, seriously. But check it out. I thought it was very interesting. And next movie I saw was American Skin. American Skin is a Nate Parker film written and directed, and it was released through a Spike Lee. It's a Spike Lee joint, so it's a Spike Lee situation. Um, Nate Parker has a way of upsetting you and inspiring you at the same time in his art. And American Skin is not doesn't stray from his formula. Get your tissues out. You're gonna cry. You're gonna be angry. You're gonna be upset. But I think that it was a very good message overall. And it basically is telling the story of a man who loses his son in the routine traffic stop, driving while black. And I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to tell too much,
Hmm.
but definitely check it out. Um, it's emotionally driven, very well done, and there's a point in the film where there's dialogue, and the dialogue is coming from various people, but it's also educational at the same time, and some real content is being thrown out there as
Nice.
far as how we as a society deal with racism and police brutality in this country. Definitely, I've definitely recommended. Two thumbs up. Number 10, watch that.
Nice.
And it's called American Skin. And I want to mention Euphoria has a new episode just released. So far, two episodes of the new season have been released already. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it yet, but these, I think, were things that they could film that were easy and COVID friendly.
Mm.
And the first episode focuses on um, Zendaya's character. I can't think of her name right now, but focuses on Zendaya's character. And the second episode, which is the latest release, focuses on Jules, her friend. And they're very intimate and up close and personal. So you get to know these characters in a different way. And which I really love about this show because it's very character driven. And so definitely check that out
Nice.
because I think that these are being stacked up to lead up to, what they're going to present as the actual series for the season. American Gods just started back up. I think we're in episode 3 at this point,
Okay.
which is really good. It's a little confusing. I'm still trying to find my way through it. But it's good. I get into all that mythical gods and history and all that. I
Yeah,
love all that.
I've read the book, and
Yeah.
so I'm probably gonna get into the series one day. But the book was really good, so I can only imagine.
Yeah. So it's a good series. It's good. It's good entertainment. Definitely check it out. Everybody does a good job. Um, Your Honor is another show with Bryan Cranston on it on Showtime. Wow. Bryan Cranston can do no wrong in my book. He always picks projects that are A plus. And in this series, he's a judge whose son accidentally kills someone else. And because of his son's ill actions in the beginning of that manslaughter, he now has to help his son cover up because the way that his son took care of things, he did it not intentionally trying to cover up, but it looks like he's covering up. So, but he's gone so far that the judge now has to help him cover up, or he would actually go to jail. And now at this point, both of them would go to jail. So it's an ever evolving situation, and it just gets worse and worse as the series
Wow.
goes on. And it's good. Like, you have to check it out, and to see how this man of the law skirts around the law, and he's trying to protect his son at the same time. It's interesting. Definitely check it out. Bryan Cranston is a friggin' genius.
Hmm.
Um. Oh, okay. This is my last thing. Did anybody know that Sex and the City was coming back?
I saw the headlines, but isn't the one of the main characters not coming back?
Which is going to be very interesting. I want to know how they're going to do this. So, Kim Cattrall, who plays Samantha, will not be coming back to the Sex and the City um, fold. The other three ladies are, and I think the new series is called "And Just Like That." Dot dot dot. That's going to be the name of the new series,
Interesting.
where it picks up. I think Sarah Jessica Parker says she could not help to wonder where they are now, and then it says "And Just Like That." Dot dot dot. So that's the lead into. Then they have a trailer, and the trailer is just basically showing you different scenes around New York City. You don't see any actors, you don't see any people. You just hear voices and you see the city. So you get the good feel of New York
Hmm.
City, and it looks like it may be good, just simply based on um, the energy put
Okay.
into the promo. The energy seems like it's going to be good, which leaves people that are fans of the show questioning, how are you going to cover up the Samantha hole? What are you going to do? And I've heard rumors that maybe Sharon Stone was
Oh.
going to play Samantha. Rumors. I'm not saying that that's true, but if that is a rumor, she probably would be the only actress that I can think of that could probably do that, and maybe do it to the point where everyone's not super upset about it. And then the other thing that could probably happen, if anyone follows Sex in the City, you know that Samantha had a bout with breast cancer, so they could kill Samantha off.
Mm.
So who knows? And then there was talk about also too Jennifer Hudson stepping in as maybe a recurring character, or maybe part of the actual cast, because remember, she was in the Sex and the City movie as Carrie's assistant.
Mm.
So we'll see. But I'm excited about it. I like that show. It was brilliant writing on there. I love the writing.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, I'm devastated. Insecure has announced that this fifth season is going to be their last season. So it's
Well,
only 30
they've
minutes.
always kind of said that. They've always said that.
I'm
Issa's
still
always kind of
devastated.
said that. I know, but it leaves room for something else.
No, it does. It does. And she's a busy woman. I'm sure it's hard for her to do a series like
And
that all the
and
time.
and hey, look at this, Steven. You had Insecure, which is kind of on the level of Sex in the City, right?
Hmm.
Sex in the City left HBO to go on and do great things in the theater. Who knows what HBO wants Issa to do with Insecure? They may have given her an option to do that. And then, like, now Sex and the City's coming back. Who knows? Maybe Insecure has to take a journey.
I like Chike looking on the bright side.
All
I
right.
do. I
We'll
mean,
see.
Consoling Stephen. Yep.
Well, listen, guys, we got to wrap. But thank you, as always, for letting us know what to spend our time and money on. And have a great week. And we'll talk again next Monday.
All right. Thanks a lot.
absolutely.
All right. Right back after this.